before you knock me out. You think I can get a pic? And can you make sure you light up?
Black Lightning tries to find the source of a new drug wreaking havoc in Freeland, and Tobias Whale comes up with a plan to take down Black Lightning. Let's recap episode 4, titled Black Jesus, right here on What Happened. How's it going, y'all? Lisa here, and it is time for another Black Lightning recap. So I really liked the first 3 episodes of the show, but this week's episode kind of felt like things were slowing down a bit, like it dragged a tiny. But it was still an enjoyable episode. It seems like Anissa has now discovered how to control her powers, and she's determined to use them for good since she doesn't think the police are too good at their job. Meanwhile, Black Lightning tries to find the source of a dangerous new drug called Green Light that's taking over the neighborhood, while Jefferson himself has a power struggle with the school board. Tobias also hatches a plan to kill Black Lightning, and he's going to use none other than Khalil to help carry it out. That's the short version, but now let's get this longer version of the recap started. This episode begins with students telling Jefferson there's a kid in the bathroom freaking out. Jefferson finds a kid named Bernard tripping so hard on drugs that he kind of seems like he's gotten this zombie super strength almost, like some kind of superpower. So Jefferson tries to get a hold of this kid, but Bernard is able to rip a urinal off the wall and throw it at Jefferson. It seems like these drugs have some crazy side effects, like super strength, which could totally make things harder in the future if Black Lightning and, say, Anissa were to come upon a bunch of people strung out on that drug. Like, what happens if you fight someone with equal powers? It's not going to be as easy as taking down just a regular human. Anyway, Jefferson is able to zap Bernard a few times and take him down. Now, these drugs are making their rounds around town, and Anissa is not too happy about it when she sees a few of her students buy some from some guys at a local store. She breaks up the sale, but when one of the guys flashes his gun at her and the other calls her a crazy bitch, Anissa gets back in her car, but she has that look on her face that says, "Oh, you just wait, you have no idea what's coming for you." Word of advice, never call Anissa a crazy bitch. After an awkward dinner with Inspector Henderson and complete with fighting about if Black Lightning is good or not, Anissa excuses herself, puts on her hoodie, flips up the hood, and returns to the store to take down the 2 guys who were selling Green Light earlier. After she knocks them out, though, she kind of panics and calls 911. She then goes to seek advice from Grace at the Ruby Red Lipstick Bar, and they talk about, sharing important things with your parents, and should you not, when should your parents have control, stuff like that. It's basically Nyssa struggling with whether she should tell her parents about her abilities or not. Now, as they're leaving the bar, some guys that continue to harass Grace in the bar show up and hurt Grace, causing Anissa to really unleash her powers like she has never done before. Black Lightning is nearby and hears some explosion, so he decides to come check out the damage because he thinks it may be connected to the Green Light drug in some way. When he shows up, he just sees a bunch of guys on the ground and cars flipped over. He asks Gamby if there was anything on the security cameras, but Gamby lies, saying that he didn't see anything. He, of course, though, saw a hooded woman with super strength stomp the ground and create little craters and throw dudes like hundreds of feet. I can't tell whether or not Gamby actually saw Anissa's face or if the hood covered it enough, but he knows something's up, so he grabs his gun, his phone, his jacket, and heads to the bar where he starts taking pictures. So what is Gamby planning for Anissa if he knows it's her? He obviously doesn't want to tell Jefferson what he's seen, so is he going to start just working on a super suit for her and then surprise Jefferson with Super Anissa? What's his plan here? We then later see Anissa tending to Grace's wounds and again talking out loud about what she should do with her powers without actually saying she has powers, although I think Grace might know something's up with Anissa right now. Now, Jefferson and Gamby, they figure out that the drugs going around are called Green Light, and Black Lightning hits the streets to see if he can find more information. He finds one kid and shakes him down and finds out that 2 Bits is his supplier. At school the next day, Bernard comes into Jefferson's office and eventually tells him a guy named Ronald gave him the drugs and said the first taste was free. Jefferson calls Gamby to give him that name and to have him check on it, but unfortunately Gamby is literally watching Ronald's dead body being loaded into an ambulance because it seems like Ronald OD'd on his own Green Light. Jefferson now pays a visit to 2 Bits, who is a guy he actually grew up with. 2 Bits refuses to snitch, and when Gamby tells Jefferson how bad the Green Light drug is and how there's been 36 overdoses with 6 deaths related to it and that you can get hooked on it after 1 taste, Black Lightning decides it's time to pay a visit to 2 Bit. Eventually, the two work out a deal and 2-Bits tells Black Lightning the address of the warehouse and everything that he does when he gets the green light. But this is the part of the scene that actually made me chuckle and made me like it.
Before you knock me out, you think I can get a pic? And can you make sure you light up?
No!
Black Lightning then goes to stake out the warehouse equipped with some very cool new electric vision courtesy of Gambi. Gambi thinks the operation has to be bigger than the 100 gang since they have professional drivers, temp-controlled 18-wheelers, and a heavily protected warehouse. Like, there's no way that the little 100 gang could have pulled that all off, so someone has to be behind it that's bigger. Well, Black Lightning gets distracted when he hears those explosions from the bar, and he makes a choice to not follow the truck, which of course would have been his best lead in order to find out where this green light is coming from, and instead he goes to the explosions, which he thinks could be connected to green light, maybe, and they're closer. Yeah, unfortunately he made the wrong decision. The next day though, Jefferson gets a call from Bernard's dad who says that Bernard went to a dope house looking for more green light because he was already hooked. Bernard's dad followed him but ended up getting pistol whipped by the guys and the cops did nothing about it. So Black Lightning decides to take matters into his own hands. He shows up at the dope house, kicks some butt, and carries Bernard out. When it comes to his real life, Jefferson's dealing with the school board who wants to take away his powers when it comes to disciplinary action on severe infractions with the students. So instead of Jefferson having final say, the board would get the final say and he'd only get one vote like the rest of the board members. Jefferson reluctantly agrees after everything that's been going on, and all I have to say is that there is something fishy about Miss Foudy, right? Like, I feel like she has to be up to something. She's either crushing hardcore on Jefferson, working for someone else, or she just has some kind of other agenda, or it's all of the above. And I know I can't be the only one who thinks that about her, right? As for Jennifer and Khalil, she's spending all her time at the hospital helping Khalil with his physical therapy, and it seems like he may never walk again because his spinal cord was almost severed, which we actually find out later was severed. Jennifer's so concerned with staying with Khalil that she is ready to quit track, which her parents are not happy about. Now when it comes to Tobias, Lady Eve pretty much tells him that everyone thinks his reputation is a lie, like you lied on your resume, since it was all built around him killing Black Lightning 9 years ago. And since Black Lightning is alive, how is anyone supposed to believe Tobias now? Lady Eve then tells Tobias to pretty much fix the problem, which is kill Black Lightning. And while she is talking to him, she shows kind of just how evil in a different way that's kind of really scary she is by, like, she's talking to Tobias and she has like some suction thing and is looking like she is sucking blood or something out of a body, and it seems like it should be a corpse, but it turns out that that person, whatever she is doing to that person, is alive, and she's just standing there having a casual conversation. It just kind of gave me a little bit of chills, but also made me love Lady Eve even more. Tobias finds out the truth about the mix-up with Black Lightning's body 9 years ago, and he decides to call in some backup to help him fix his problem, his sister Tori. Tobias has too many warrants in Freeland, so he can't actually go after Black Lightning himself, so Tori suggests that he wins the heart of the people of Freeland by convincing them that Black Lightning is a bad guy. And what better way to do that than by using Khalil, who Freeland loves, and convincing the kid that Black Lightning is the reason for his paralysis and causing Khalil to hate Black Lightning. So we all of a sudden see Khalil receive a bunch of gifts, his medical bills are paid off, he gets reported that he is now paralyzed and his spinal cord has now officially been severed, although I don't know if they just made that up to make him angry or not. But either way, Tobias pays Khalil a visit and tells him that he can show him how to kill his pain, and basically says Black Lightning messed up both of their lives and something needs to happen about it. Alright, so things seem to be crumbling of sorts for Jefferson in all aspects. He's losing control of his school, drugs are taking over the city, and he's having a harder time dealing with the collateral damage of being Black Lightning. Anissa's also struggling with what she should do with her powers, while Tobias is planning to take down Black Lightning using someone pretty close to him, which will not be pretty. The parts I liked about this episode were definitely the Lady Eve scene. Like, she's just so intriguing, as is Gambi. I want to know what he is up to and why he's choosing to hide certain things from Jefferson, like the tape of Tobias at the march and Anissa outside the bar. What is he up to? Hopefully we will find out soon, but until then, let's take a look at the promo for the next episode.
So I hear you've been trying to go back out as Black Lightning.
I've been waiting to knock you out since the 6th grade.
I barely touched him. Her wrist is broken. You are making bad decisions.
Fighting should never be about adding fuel to the fire.
What about when somebody's trying to regulate upside your head?
I can shoot your...
So is Jennifer getting her powers now too, or is she just angry? We do know she will get powers eventually, but will it come this soon in the season? Also, looks like Anissa will continue to embrace her powers as a vigilante, and I am hoping that there may be some good kick-ass scenes in the next episode, some nice fight scenes, because this one had a couple, but I'm ready for an action-packed episode after this slower one. And that wraps up this week's recap, so hit the comments down below, let me know what you thought of this episode, your favorite moments, your least favorite moments, what do you think about the progression of the show so far, and what do you want to see happen this season? After that, check out more of this week's TV recaps right over here, and if you like what you see, be sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe. My name's Lisa. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. As always, see you next time.